4 months ago, I did a video on how to create realistic characters for your documentaries like the ones you see on the channels of FERN or Cypher. The only bad thing about that method is that it cost $300 just to get started, and if you want more clothing items to customize your character, most of them cost around $20. This raises the barrier of entry for all the people that really want to use these kinds of characters for their documentaries. But in this video I found an alternative where you can create entire characters for free or at a very low cost without any advanced 3D skill like modeling or rigging. So if you're interested, here's the method. So the first thing you want to do is install this add-on that it's called Make Human. So just follow this tutorial, it's pretty simple, and this add-on essentially lets you create humans, custom humans for free, and you can customize the body proportions, the facial expressions, the eye color and all that stuff. The only bad thing about Make Human is that they have a couple clothing items, but they are pretty limited and also bad quality. They also have an online library where people upload their clothes that you can either purchase or just download to then use with the add-on, but as I already told you, it's pretty limited and not that high quality. So instead, what I'm going to use to dress my 3D characters is, as always, MetaTailor. MetaTailor is just an easy way to dress your characters. And I tried dressing characters in Blender in the past, and that's honestly a pain in the ass. I now have the pro version, but if you want to try it out, you can just try it for free, and it lets you export 3 characters a month, so 3 exports a month. So yeah, it's pretty good, and the subscription is not that expensive. So yeah, now we have how to make characters for free, how to dress them almost for free, and now the question is where you can find clothes or hair or beards for free or at a very low cost. I have 3 websites for you, and one is Sketchfab. If you look for clothing and then click here on downloadable, you have a lot of free and also pretty high quality assets that you can use to dress your characters. And you can also search for hair or beard here and it will be pretty much the same. But what if you need a very specific piece of clothing that it's unfortunately not for free in Sketchfab, or at least not in the quality that you want? Then you should go to the next website, which is ArtStation. If you go here to shop and then marketplace, you can select these filters right here, like 3D models and clothes and accessories, and you will have a lot of really high quality assets to dress your characters, and they are also super cheap, like less than $10. So yeah, great website. But what if you still can't find what you want and you need even more quality and a little bit more higher prices? Then you go to CG Trader. As you can see here, I typed clothing, and here you will have super high quality assets and also super cheap. Sometimes you will find things for less than $10 and other times a little bit higher, but most things are really not that expensive. And you can also search for hair or beard and you will have pretty high quality things for a pretty low price. But before you purchase or download anything, there's a couple considerations. First, if you download an entire outfit like this, you can't just import this into MetaTailor, and if you do, you will have pretty bad results. You first need to go to Blender and separate each asset. So in this case I will separate like the top part and then the lower part and then the shoes and the bracelets, then export them separately and then import them into MetaTailor, and that will give you the best results. Then if you like any piece of clothing right here, let's say I really want this one, you need to make sure that you can get like the A-pose version and not this posed version, because it will make everything harder. So just go and look at the pictures and see if there's like a A-pose or T-pose asset like this. And also then you have to make sure that you will have an OBJ or FBX format, or maybe a .blend format, because if this isn't in the A-pose and then it's just like the Marvelous Designer file, you can't use this asset no matter how cheap or how good it is, unless you have Marvelous 3D. I don't have it, so yeah. So let's say you downloaded this asset right here, and fortunately it is separated in parts, but sometimes you will have assets that are just one thing, and you will have something like this. Then you just need to go to edit mode and then press L to select linked, and then you just press L, and in this case I'm going to select wireframe mode and also select all this area right here. And now let's say you separated an entire part right here, you just press P and separate by selection, and now you have this separated asset right here. So now that you have it separated, you just have to select it and then go to File, Export, and export as whatever, let's say FBX, and you have to select selected objects and also armature, and with Shift Mesh, and then you export FBX. And now you import that into MetaTailor. And now that you know all of that, let's create our realistic character, the one that you saw in the intro of the video and probably in the thumbnail. So what you need to do, now that you are in your scene and you already installed the Make Human add-on and also the assets, you just have to go here and then to this MPFB and all that stuff, and now go here to New Human and from scratch. Then you select here whatever you want. In my case, I will select a male, a young male with an average of muscles, and race I will select Caucasian. Is that how you pronounce it? Caucasian? I don't know. Then the breast size I will decrease it to smaller, and then here where it says proportion, instead of average I will select ideal, and now I will just create human, and now I will have this human asset right here. Now if you want to personalize this, you just have to go here to model, and then you will have all the body parts right here that you can modify. In my case, let's say I want to select here the cheeks. Maybe I want this guy to make a lot of mewing, so let's do something like this. And now this guy knows how to do mewing, or mewing, I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know if you can actually see, let me move myself. Then we can see he's not doing mewing perfectly, so let's look at, I think it was the neck. Yeah, so now he does a lot of mewing. Now let's say he also trains neck, so we can just increase the neck size right here, and now he is really like the perfect male. Maybe we can make him like a positive cantile tilt or whatever that is, something like this. There you go. Now this guy really knows how to looks max. So yeah, let's stop joking and let's go to rigging, and this is an important part. You want to add rig right here, and here where it says add the standard rig, you want to select, for example, Mixamo. In my case, Mixamo, because I'm more familiarized with that. And then you just add standard rig, and you will have something like this. Now, with that selected, you have to go here to apply assets, and here you can actually personalize a bit more your character. Like, for example, the skins library, you can select whatever skin you want. In my case, I want like a young Caucasian. Oh, my English is pretty bad. Male, please. Here it is. Okay. And not only that, we also want to add some eyes. So let's go to the eye library and add a high poly eye. Let's select the armature again. Now let's add a little bit of hair right here. I think I used this one for the thumbnail. Obviously you can use hair from CG Trader or ArtStation, and I did a video on how you can add hair to models. I will probably link that in the description. So yeah, but in this case I'm just going to add this hair asset right here. Let's select the armature again. Now I want to add like a basic eyelashes and then eyebrows. I like thick eyebrows, like it's a personal taste of mine. Not in 3D, like I mean in real life, I like thick eyebrows. You can also add teeth and tongue and all that stuff. I won't open the mouth of this guy, so I don't care. And then you can also add clothes, and these clothes are, yeah, I mean in some cases it might work, but in this case I won't put any clothes into this guy because I'm going to dress him with MetaTailor. So I'm just going to close this, and yeah, that's my human. Obviously, you can personalize this a lot more. Let's say you want to copy like an historical figure. You can maybe have a reference of the face of that historical figure and then play with the parameters until you have something very similar. But yeah, also if you don't know how this looks textured, let's just select the material preview, and as you can see we have something like this. But now let's export it to MetaTailor. So press A to select everything with the rig and all that stuff, and then you just press here File, Export, and export FBX. And I'm just going to name this test, and I'm going to click here on selected objects and armature and mesh, and then export FBX. Now before doing anything, you want to make sure that this actually works. So you want to import your character right here, and if it looks fine, then yeah, you can just go to MetaTailor and start dressing your character. And here in MetaTailor, as you can see, I'm in the pro version finally. I have here some characters that I used for other videos and also for the course that I'm building. You will know more about that later. Not later in this video, like later in the future. But what you have to do is open a new project and give it a name. In my case, subscribe, it's my favorite name. And now you will have something like this. If you want to import your character, you just have to go here to import and then import avatar. And I will import the test that I exported just minutes ago. And I will have something like this. Don't bother about all these things right here because we are going to texture this character later in Blender. So just go to next step. And now here is the rigging. And it will usually be fine. The only problematic thing right here may be the nose tip. You have to tweak this, and also the skull base. You want to tweak this right here, and the skull crown, I think is fine. So then you just go to next step, and it will redirect you to this part right here. It won't change the character automatically. You just have to go here to this icon, and then select your test. And as you can see, I imported this guy like a bunch of times just because I was experimenting. Oh, I guess you didn't saw, sorry, the icon I was pressing to change the characters. It was here, this icon. So then you go here and you select your avatar, and then we just have to dress the character. So go into clothing right here. I'm just going to scroll down and I will select my content right here, and I have all these assets that I used in previous tutorials or in course lessons or whatever. I'm just going to select this jumpsuit that I used for another tutorial that I downloaded from Mixamo, so it's free. So this character, this entire character is completely for free. So I'm just going to apply the jumpsuit, and there you go, that's it. It's pretty magic. It just works. You can increase the shrink wrap to maybe something like 20 to make this like more closer to the actual body. And what if you don't have like an asset already and you want to import one that you downloaded from Sketchfab or CG Trader or whatever? You just have to go here to import and import cloth or accessory. And I'm just going to import an asset from a previous tutorial. In this case, this police suit, and you will have something like this. If you want to texture this, and I recommend you do, you just go here to color and then go to the textures that came with the model that you downloaded from whatever Sketchfab or whatever website. In this case is this image right here, and you can also apply the normal, and that's it. Now you just select next, and now you select a preset from here. In my case, I want shirt. And now next step, and now I have to position this as good as I can in my actual character. So in this case, I think I want to scale this up a little bit and also lower this, and then move this right here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be like close to perfect. So let's increase the size right here, and let's move this a little bit and something like this. There you go. Now confirm, and now you start post match, and this is where you start moving things around to make this as close as possible to the original. Something like this. Maybe I want to move the pelvis a little bit, and that should be it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then you just press confirm and then next step, and MetaTailor will do its magic, and as you can see, it fits the clothes almost perfectly. If I were to invest more time, I would probably fix this, but don't worry, it's fine. Actually, I have this exact model, so let's delete this, and I have this exact model like a bunch of times because I always use this as an example. So let's import this one, and yeah, in this case it doesn't have any problems because in this case I dedicated more time. And this is the good thing about MetaTailor. Every asset you import, you will save it right here, and then you can apply it to whatever character you want. So as I was telling you, I'm going to apply this jumpsuit right here. MetaTailor does its magic. I'm also going to increase the shrink wrap to 20 to make this closer to the body. And now I just want to export this character, so I'm just going here to export. I will give it whatever name, choose an export path, in my case just the download section, and then click here on export. And now here in Blender I'm just going to import this character and GX, and yeah, as you can see, this character, so let's isolate this, has this really weird, I don't know if I can call this shading or whatever because this is solid mode, but you can't apply any materials if the character is like this. So what you should do, import your character and delete animation. I mean, this is optional, obviously if you have an animation don't delete it, but in my case I will delete it, and then here custom normals, I will delete that also, and import FEX. And now that I deleted the custom normals, this works fine. As you can see, this just works fine. So yeah, there's a couple problems with this character, and we are going to solve those one by one. So let's just select the armature right here, and then go to data properties of the armature, and then in viewport display you want to select here in front. And as you can see, this is a problem for MetaTailor. The bones are super tiny, so what you have to do to solve this, with the armature selected, go to edit mode, select everything pressing A and then S, and scale your armature, something like this, and then press Ctrl 3, and as you can see this is not properly aligned, so you want something like this, and then here you want to make sure this is somewhat aligned like this, so GX, maybe S, maybe we need to scale this more, GX, S, GX, and yeah, this you want to tweak this a little bit until it aligns perfectly, and now you can go to pose mode, and now you can pose this character however you want. Publish it. Now the other thing you want to do is select the mesh right here, and then go to wireframe mode and edit mode, and then select the vertices, and then just delete everything that is under the clothes, and this will prevent any clipping that could potentially happen. So yes, something like this, and then go back and select this part right here, and then delete vertices. Now the other thing is that this is not textured, so if we go to material preview, this will not be textured except for the clothes. So what you want to do here is just copy the textures from your original character. So let's go to materials and let's see what is the name of the material, human.body. So you just want to go here, delete this material, and then select human.body right here, and you will have the correct shader. And now you want to do the same for the rest of the assets. You just want to select the proper name, human eyebrow. So select this human eyebrow, then human high poly, you just select this one. It looks bad here, but in the render view it looks fine, so don't worry. And then here the hair, you just want to select the normal hair, and there you go. Now your character is dressed. If you want to improve here the material from the clothes, just have to go here to the shader editor and tweak a couple things. For example, we are not going to use the alpha. Let's close this. We are going to decrease the metallic. We are going to plug this into the roughness. Press backspace here to make this normal. And then let's also increase this to something like 3. And there you go. Now our clothes are better. And if you want to make them orange, like in the thumbnail, you just have to press Shift A, hue and saturation value, and plug that right here, and then decrease the hue a little bit to something like this, and then increase the saturation to something like this, and maybe the value to something like this. And there you go, now it's orange. And there you go, here you have your character that you can use for your documentaries, and you can also create women, elderly persons, childs, even babies, dress them in meta-tailor, and then use them in your documentaries. I know I just taught you how to make realistic characters, but do you really need them? After all, there are creators like Scams or BBPR that are pulling crazy views with super simple characters. That's why I made this video on how to make them. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!